But I just wanted to say one thing. Mason Mount scored today, and I've been talking about him the last couple of weeks to literally no fanfare whatsoever. And I just want to say, like, he's always in the team, and it doesn't seem to matter who's managing him. They always want him to play. And sometimes that's just what you want. I acknowledge it. Sometimes it's difficult to see what's special about him, but he's racking up the points. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's one of the highest scoring attackers in Chelsea right now. So, yeah, there was a reason I was talking about him before, and we saw it today. That's all I want to say. No.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
So, hello. You are listening to episode 45 of FPL Bros with Joe, the Black David Mitchell, and Derek. How you doing?
I've seen better days, let's put it that way.
Yeah. No, it's been quite a topsy-turvy day of results. So, yeah, obviously we'll touch on that at some point during the episode as well. But, so we've just had Double Gameweek 26. Apparently the biggest game week ever, but as usual, I failed to make the most of it, and I think I'm going to be limping in with a very underwhelming score.
Same.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen hundreds people getting more than 100 points everywhere, and it's just so depressing. But hey, there's like 12 more game weeks to go, and plenty around the corner. So let's try and not let that get us down too much.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
So, do you want to start with how we're doing in terms of scores? Obviously, we're recording just after the last game of the game week, which is Liverpool-Chelsea. So they're still doing the calculations, but do you want to start or shall I start? Or
I'm on 69 points at the moment. I've got two players who did not play at all, even though they had double game weeks, which were Mitchell and Coleman. So I have Ben Mee and Kufal coming in for 3 points in total. So we'll finish the game week with around 72 points.
Okay. Yeah, any highlights or not particularly?
I mean, Son was my vice captain and Kane was my captain. I think it could have gone either way, but, I was glad at least I got some points returned from Kane. He's the only player that returned apart from Son, obviously, and Gundogan. Gundogan got an assist, but that was it. Everyone else literally disappointed. I don't even know what to say.
No, I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of people were banking on Spurs blowing everybody away. And of course, if you had Bale and captained him, then he would have blown everyone away. But I think most people went for Harry Kane. Apart from me, as you may have noticed, I thought I'd be clever and go for Calvert-Lewin for the two games where he decided he'd much rather have Richarlison score instead of him. So that had me leaping for joy.
Yeah.
I on 86, I don't think that's going to be improved, but I took a -8, so I will finish the game week on 78 points. I would be very surprised if that were to beat the average. And I think my biggest regret is that I took a -4 to bring in Ricardo Pereira of Leicester City, and he only managed 1 point in the first game, and then in the second game, where I think Leicester conceded quite early on after 6 minutes, I thought, okay, clean sheet's gone. And then as the game wore on, it didn't look like they were scoring, and it didn't look like Pereira's going to be assist or scoring a goal. I said, okay, I'll take 2 points. And then I think in the 86th minute, he went and got a yellow card. So I swapped him for Dallas, and if I'd kept Dallas, I would have gotten 2 points as well and not had taken the -4. So, that's just made me very bitter. Okay. I suppose I should count my blessings because I was agonising. I thought I need to get somebody in for Leicester, and they were, before the double game week started, they were posting a really high amount of shots. I think the only team which had taken more shots than them in the last 4 game weeks were Man City. So I thought, how can I lose? And I thought, shall I go with Harvey Barnes or Pereira? So I suppose it could have been worse. I could have gone with Harvey Barnes. So.
Yeah, but Barnes returned, didn't he?
Nope. Well, I think he got injured. I think he got injured maybe in the second half of the first game. He didn't do anything, and he got injured for a 1-pointer. He got injured for a 1-pointer. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. Sorry, it was Tillemans. I was thinking of Barnes.
Oh right, yeah. No, well, I mean, I thought with Leicester, Tillemans, with Leicester, I'll take Barnes or Pereira, because I thought Pereira might be filling in midfield, which he has done for a little bit over the past 2 games, but he did nothing.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Anyway, enough misery. I thought we would have a quick chat before we get onto player picks and predictions about some of the stuff which came up during the double game week. I've already mentioned Leicester, and so I don't know if you had any thoughts of them in general. 1 minute they're flying, the next they're crying.
They are a bit inconsistent this season. I don't know what's going on, especially with the team they've got. They've got quite a strong team, and I think they should be delivering better results. So I wouldn't trust them, to be fair. You're right. 1 minute they're flying, the next minute they're crying. So edging on the cautious side in terms of any Leicester players right now. But if I have them, I would hold them just because they've got Brighton next. So that is a good fixture for them. But, Brighton can cause problems. They beat some of the top teams this year. So
yeah. Apparently Brighton are doing very well defensively as well. So I've got to be honest with you, I'm panicking already. I'm starting to think Pereira was a big mistake. He cost me 5.9 million. And I'm just thinking about getting rid of him. I mean, I know that for the next couple of game weeks, the fixtures aren't too bad. Because like you said, they've got Brighton, which isn't necessarily a difficult game, which they could get something from. And then they've got Sheffield United as well after that. Again, they could get something from that. But they don't play in game week 29. And then it's Manchester City after that. And then West Ham, which, West Ham can defend. Again, and then it's West Brom. So I mean, I don't know. All I've got to think about is whether there's a defender who's going to get me more points over those weeks. But I suppose I could hold on to him for the next 2 because that was the plan originally, and then see what happens. But I take it you're not going to be getting any Leicester players in.
No, I definitely will not.
See, I did the experiment for the both of us. You've seen the outcome. You don't like it. That's fine. I wonder whether there's something about, and I'm really speculating here, but I do wonder whether there's something about Brendan Rodgers and his teams in that he can't seem to get them over the line. And I know they've had a lot of injuries and so on and so forth, but did he really add to the Leicester squad in the last couple of transfer windows that he's had the opportunity to?
Surely he's added to it. Brendan Rodgers has been a great manager.
Yeah, I know, but they're expecting so much now because of the way the Leicester teams, go throughout the season. Last season they were flying, and a lot was expected of them. This season they were even top for a couple of weeks, and an awful lot was expected as well. But it just seems to go really flat, spectacularly, and I don't know what it is. Maybe I am just speculating. But see, again, I'm trying to talk myself out of keeping Pereira, but he's a good player, and you're right, Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, and Leicester are a good team. And I think one thing really we should be expecting from a manager of Rodgers' caliber is for him to get a reaction from his players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then. All right.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention was one Gareth Bale, and obviously he didn't do anything against Fulham, which was the match today. He single-handedly took apart Burnley, and was it he got 19 points overall or something like that?
Something like that. It was crazy.
Bale
played.
Go on.
Bale played really well, and I think since he had the Europa game where he scored, was it a brace? I can't remember now.
I think he scored and assisted.
Yeah, scored and assisted. And I think he started enjoying the game a lot more as well. Again, he's found his left foot once again, where he just, cuts in, takes that shot. He's really found that. So I think he's got his shooting boots back on. So I think he's definitely one to watch. It's tough because Kane and Son are still in form, so it's really difficult to choose what three to have. But I personally wouldn't have three Spurs attackers. I'd still want to have the two. And I think Son offers more value than Gareth Bale, and you just can't not have Kane at the moment. So
no. I mean, the advantages are all there for all to see. The big one with Kane is that he's got penalties. Both he and Son tend to play 90 minutes. Jose did put the willies up people, though, in a press conference a couple of days ago when he said, "Oh, Harry Kane can't play all the games. There's just too many. I'm going to have to play Vinicius in some of them." And people are like, "What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean by that, eh?" Yeah. So I don't know whether
I definitely think he says stuff to throw people off. He's done this in the past before when he's gone, Kane's not playing, he's sick, and then he started him, and everyone has put him on the bench. So I would definitely not listen to a word he says.
Yeah, I mean, if he knows what's good for him, he'll probably play Kane in every game. Certainly, if he wants to get anything out of the Premier League season this season, he'll have to play Kane in every game. And sometimes Kane is a form troll. You stick him in against a really easy team and he does nothing. I'll never forget a couple of seasons ago when Cardiff was still in the Premier League and they were in 18th position and Spurs had a home game against him. And I took a -4 to bring in Kane and he got wiped 1 point because he did nothing all game and got a yellow card.
Oh, no.
And although, I mean, maybe Mourinho, because that might not necessarily happen under Mourinho, but, he had Fulham today, and he did nothing. Yeah, Son plays 90 minutes. Bale hasn't had 90 minutes in the Premier League all season. Some might argue that he doesn't actually need it, but it is a worry, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Especially since Mourinho might be starting to shoehorn Ali back into the team as well.
Slowly.
Slowly.
He looks good though, doesn't he? Like on the eyes when he's playing, he looks confident. He looks like he can bring more creativity to the game. Like his passes are still brilliant, and he's taking shots. I just think his shooting is not as good as it was pre his injury and whatever happened to him and being dropped. But he's definitely got some good form there.
Yeah, I think in some ways he's a better player than the one that left.
Interesting.
I think. Yeah, well, you're right about the shooting. Don't get me wrong. I think I remember him being mostly a speed merchant and a shot merchant before he went to Real Madrid. Now I think he's a lot better at keeping the ball and going past players, and I think that's helpful for Spurs because it creates space for the other attackers, and of course it also makes him more creative, because it helps unlock defenses and put through balls in and so on and so forth. But obviously, like you said, there may have been a trade-off with the shooting and the finishing. And he's obviously, he's in his 30s now. He's not going to be as quick as when he was 26. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's just me, just powers in there. One thing I will say is that the thing about Mourinho is that it only takes a couple of bad games for him to give you the cold shoulder. So, if Bale has another stinker, you might not see him again for another month or something. Who knows? So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, other people are talking about putting Lloris in their teams or Regulion, but Regulion didn't even play today. So, if you a lot of us, we've had it up to here with Pep Roulette. And if we're going to be spending a lot of money on our players, I mean, Bell's like 9.3, I think. It's a lot of money to pay for somebody who, might only get 60 minutes on or come on for a 1 point cameo. Or not play at all when you could have Son or Kane. So, yeah.
It's tough. It's really tough because the thing is, he's got so much attacking potential threat. Like, he whips the ball in like nothing. I don't know if you saw the argument between Keane and Redknapp, but
no. What did they say?
Keane was saying that Tottenham are an average team, and Jamie Redknapp defended them, saying they're not an average team. a lot of the players would get into any of the top 6 teams. And he said, apart from Kane and Son, who else would you say? So he started naming a few. And one of the ones he named was Reguilón. And he said, he's a very good left back. And he said Alderweireld is a very good centre back as well. So Keane's response was, well, why is he a good centre back? And Jamie said, because he's good on the ball and he is in the Belgian national team.
Yeah.
To which Keane laughed and said, just because someone's in the national team doesn't mean they're world class or basically a good player, which is a good point. Like, you can't say just because it's the national team makes him like a great player. It's still average.
I didn't see that, no.
It was brilliant. You should see it. And obviously, Jamie is like, well, United wanted to sign him not too long ago, didn't they?
Oh, gosh.
Arguing with Keane is just pointless because you are bound to lose.
No, totally. He's a very opinionated man, but I think that's what they want from pundits, really, at the end of the day. To a lot of them, it's a bit of a laugh. It's a good way to make money, but he literally saw football as a job, didn't he?
Yeah.
The minute he won a Premier League title, he was thinking about winning the next one. So that's what you're getting with him. All right, cool.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
So if we will move on to predictions for the next game week, which is nominally a double game week, but it's only a double game week in the sense that Manchester City and Southampton have 2 games.
Yeah.
All right, then. So we will start with Burnley versus Arsenal.
I actually think Burnley can keep a clean sheet, Is that weird for me to say? I just think Arsenal got battered, didn't they? By who did they lose to?
They haven't lost recently.
They haven't lost. They beat Leicester, didn't they? Sorry, I thought they did,
yeah.
I'm thinking of a different team then. Sorry.
Burnley got battered by Spurs. I don't know if that's what you're thinking of.
No, it wasn't that one. I don't know. I think I was thinking of a different game week. You know what? These game weeks are just starting to merge together. That's my problem.
100%.
But no, I still think Burnley can keep a clean sheet. Burnley are a very tough team to break down, especially at home. They're like that. They're that team that if they decide to defend, they will defend very well. And I think Arsenal's threat comes from the counter attack and on the wings whipping the balls in, and Burnley will take that all day long.
I suppose so.
But yeah, I think Burnley can keep a clean sheet. I think it will probably be a ball draw, but that's just my prediction. It's just a gut feeling I have.
I agree with you mostly. The thing is, I think Burnley have responded very well to their Spurs defeat, and they drew with Leicester, and it's a game they could have won. And a lot of people go on about how good Spurs were against Burnley, but I actually think Burnley were really bad, and I think they made it very easy for them. And when I saw the highlights of the game, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It didn't seem like Burnley at all. They were just literally giving Spurs so much space, and they weren't closing them down. And I don't know whether they were just tired or they just wanted to stand there and marvel at Bale. I don't know what it was. So you're right, Burnley can make it very, very difficult if they want to. And the thing about Arsenal is I'm not really sure they've built up any consistency yet. Yes, the last couple of results have been good, but they don't really seem like they're firing on all cylinders. And sometimes they really make a meal of scoring goals. They make it really, really, they turn it into a real tough job. Yeah. And, so I'm not so sure myself that, it never surprises me when Arsenal don't score and they only score 1 goal, because they're just not a free-flowing team at the moment. I mean, that's not to say they won't get there, but I can't see that being kick-started against Burnley. So, yeah, I'm going to say a draw as well. But I couldn't tell you whether it'd be scoreless or not. Okay. Liverpool versus Fulham.
Do you know, I just hate calling any Liverpool games now. It's just depressing. Technically, Liverpool should win this, but who knows? Honestly, who knows? It's just, we just had enough. I think that's where I am now. I've had enough, mate.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people are expecting things to get back on track now, and it still hasn't quite happened. And yeah, I mean, I suppose it will depend on who's fit for that game. But the thing about Fulham is that they're not actually playing that badly at the moment, which is a shame, really, because if they played like this at the beginning of the season, they wouldn't be in the relegation zone, would they? Yeah. So again, I'm ever the optimist, and on paper, Liverpool are a better team. And the fact is, I just think you should never write off the front three for Liverpool ever. Even though the midfield might not be what it should be, or the central defence might not be what it should be. Like Salah's still a top scorer, Mane's still a top player and a top finisher, and Firmino is still a outrageously skillful footballer, and they're not just going to lose that. So I think if Fulham make a couple of mistakes, it's a Liverpool win. So I'm going to go for 1-0, to Liverpool. All right then, the big Manchester derby, Manchester, Man City, and Man United.
Well, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
They say Bruno doesn't show up in the big games, and who better to score than Bruno for Manchester City? So if he doesn't show up like they do say, then I do see City winning this.
Mm-hmm. I'm leaning towards a City win, although Man United have recently become, the kings of the 0-0s against the top six, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I think Ollie's just playing it safe. Either he doesn't have the personnel or he doesn't have the nose to win these kind of games, but he doesn't want to take the risk. One thing I will say about Bruno Fernandes is I wouldn't necessarily say he goes missing in the big games. I would just say that in the big games he does more defensive work. Really, when you're playing against your West Broms or your Sheffield Uniteds, or I know Manchester United don't necessarily beat those teams, but he can just float about anywhere in the penalty box, can't he? Because those teams aren't going to attack you. But if you're up against the Liverpools and the Man Cities, he does get back and defend. But obviously, if he's doing that, he's not going to be taking shots in the box. So yeah, if Man City don't win this game, which I think they're capable of doing, it's going to be a 0-0. Spurs versus Palace.
Spurs should win that, shouldn't they?
They should. Again, I don't know why I keep going, oh, maybe. I shouldn't keep missing it. Look, the reason I say this is that people keep forgetting that Palace is managed by Roy Hodgson, and every now and again he gets them defending properly, like he did against Man United. And, sometimes Spurs run out of ideas, like they did effectively against Fulham tonight. So, I think this might be a draw as well. Excuse me. So. Yeah, I'm going to put it down as my shock result. It should be a Spurs win on paper, but Crystal Palace can still defend when they want to, and they just might make it difficult for Spurs. And sometimes Spurs, are flat and they can't get around teams, and no matter how hard they try.
Interesting. I think Spurs will win this one. Yeah, they've shown that they've got the heart for it.
I'd love them to win because I'm keeping Son and Kane for that game, but. Again, I'm just being like, ooh, look at me with my smarty predictions. All right, Chelsea versus Everton.
It's a tough one. I don't even know. Chelsea have been keeping clean sheets recently. That's the only thing. They've kept one against United. They've kept one against Liverpool. I don't know. If anyone wins, it's going to be a low-scoring affair, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Everton will struggle to score. I think Tuchel's doing the basics, isn't he? He's coming to a new side, and he doesn't want to lose the games. He worries about winning them. He'll worry about winning them when he gets the defence sorted out. It looks like he has got the defence sorted out, so he'll be quite happy to keep a clean sheet. And then if they do get a goal out of it, I think that'll be satisfaction all round at Stamford Bridge. The new manager bounce. He's still in the honeymoon period, so nobody's going to mind. Nobody's going to mind if he doesn't win this game. So a prediction. You know what? I'm going to go Chelsea win 2-0, maybe 1, even 2 goals.
Interesting.
Yeah. Although Everton are better away from home than they are Goodison Park, but still. And then the second set of fixtures for that week on the Wednesday, Man City versus Southampton.
Yeah. Yeah, I see City winning this, but Southampton I see City winning this.
Yeah, I think keep it simple. I think City will be all over them. I mean, there are some teams that Southampton can make life difficult for, but the way City are playing right now, I think they'll find a way, and it'll be another one.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
All right, then. So next up is the player picks. Have you got anything for us, or shall I?
It's a tough week. There's not really anyone that really stands out. I'll be honest with you. I was thinking from a safe point of view, just because City have got a double game week, might be worth getting one of the defenders in, or at least two of them. So obviously you've got Stones, which is the best value for money at 5.2. Looks to be a regular starter, and obviously has shown him and Diaz can be attacking threats with set pieces and stuff. So that's probably my first player pick. Second one is one of the Spurs forwards / midfielders, just because even though you think Crystal Palace will give them a run for their money, I do see Spurs coming and dominating that game. So your usual Son would be good, but like you mentioned earlier, Gareth Bale might be a good differential pick. So that is another shout.
Yeah, he may well be.
And then the third player I was thinking could be someone from Leicester. So you got Pereira, who let you down this week, but I do think he can be a good shout for this week because they've got Brighton. And obviously like bombing forwards. After their display last week, I'm sure Brendan's going to have a few words with the team and they'll need to do better this week. So I reckon he can get a goal or two.
Yeah, we should see a reaction. And yeah, he did have a couple of shots, or at least I think one shot in the last game. So I'll be crossing both fingers and both toes and getting my lucky rabbit. Again, I don't know how you feel when you say you're a bit deflated. It's just the whole thing is just a bit deflated sometimes, isn't it? So okay, cool, right. My pick. I had one I was quite happy with, but I think I might struggle with the rest of them. Again, my picks are a bit more general, so you can see them as long term. I would say have a look at the Fulham goalkeeper Areola, because he's really been impressing me lately, as of Fulham in general with their defending. So I don't think he costs an awful lot. Yours for 4.5, you could do a lot worse. So that would be the first one. And then second, so my second one, is actually going to be Diagne of West Brom, their forwards. Okay. Yeah, because no matter who they play, he gets chances, and he's up there for big chances in the last couple of game weeks with all the other big attackers. He's doing his job. Obviously, West Brom, they're usually defending with 9 men, but when they do get it up to him, he really goes for goal. And I reckon he could surprise a few teams. Who have they actually got next? Newcastle. Oh, yeah. I can see him getting something in that game quite easily. So, yeah, Diagne, and he is yours for 6 million.
6.1?
Oh, it's 6.9. 6.1. Yeah, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And plus, does he play in Game Week 29? No, he doesn't. But we'll get onto that later. Okay.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Right, yeah, we've come to the end of the show now. If you're listening at YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Also, give us a like. It helps us out and spread the word and enlarge the family. It's all good. And don't forget, we're also on Twitter. The handle is at FPL_Bros. So check us out on there as well. So thanks again for joining me to do the pod tonight. I know it's been a bit of a downer this week, or this last couple of game weeks, or even tonight, but still appreciate the effort. So all that's left for me now is say goodbye.
Cheers, guys. Next game's on Saturday, so make sure you all do your teams.
Right on. Okay, green owls all around. Bye bye, everyone.